So here is my wearable that I just got approved a couple days ago. It was just approved, put on the marketplace, and yeah, and I'll show you guys a couple things, well, a bunch of stuff that got me to here. It's definitely a lot of various challenges that I came across, and testing, and normals issues, and all this kind of fun stuff that you're probably like, what the hell is she talking about? But as you play, you will you get to become friends with all this stuff. And I'm still trying to see if I can get this new feature of try on. Never works for me. All I see is my artifact shoes. Maybe there's something about artifact shoes that are making the system not work. But this new feature looks so cool, and I've been wanting this try on feature forever. And yeah, it doesn't seem to want to work right now. See? That's all it shows. Does anybody else have that problem? Anyhow, technically you could come here and actually see what it'll look like on your avatar, but I've had no luck so far doing that. So also for today I'm going to be giving a wearable away. So if you want to be considered for this wearable giveaway that I'm doing part of this stream, all you guys need to do is retweet here. I just did a little tweet. Let me copy and paste it here. Head over to my Twitter, and DCL Tour Guide is also doing an amazing giveaway of a wearable here. So you can head over to mine and tweet my post, and also you can head over to hers, DCL Tour Guide. I'll post her info here too, and follow her and follow me. And if you want to be for this particular, for my stream, hers is a separate thing. You have to do whatever she has asked on her post, on her pinned tweet, even better. And on if you want to be entered for today's, you just have to leave a comment about why you want this wearable, and you'll be added to my you're gonna win this wearable for today list. Okay, so let me go back and open up the culprit that makes all of this beautiful stuff happen. Here it is. Let me unlock this and move it over. Okay, so let me, yeah, that looks pretty good. I will lock it, save it, and then I'm going to I'll leave this one open. I'm trying to like close up as many things as I can, because hopefully things won't be running super slow. I do have a list of things that I want to kind of try and cover today. Can you guys hear the music a little bit, or no? I just like having it. It's like my support. I feel like it's not just me talking. Okay, here, I'm gonna close this up. Okay, I'm just trying to be nice to my computer, because if I have Blender and DCL and all these other windows open, that's when it tends to like just start having all sorts of issues. Okay, so okay, let me get my little. So part one. Maybe I'll talk about the pricing thing later. Well, we might as well just dive into it real quick. Pricing has been a real bitch. I really don't know what to price at. Here, let me turn this off real quick and go back to... Okay, so I started pricing at 10 and I went down... Yep, Blender. I'm going to talk about wearables here in a second, wearables for Decentraland. So I started at 10, and then I had a bunch of people tell me that ideally it should be lower because that's what's moving right now, so I did make it 5 mana. And I really want to make it so people are actually wearing it. I don't want it just sitting there. And for a lot of years I actually did wearable actual in real life art, and so there was always pricing and pricing points for things to move. You don't want to price it too low and too high. You want to find that like sweet spot. So it's really hard. I don't know how to... I'm hoping some of these will sell. I love having stuff to give away to cool people, like DCL Tour Guide. If you want to post your tweet on here too, because we're having 2 giveaways, my giveaway and your giveaway. please put it in the chat for everyone. So one thing, yeah, it's also great if we all support each other. I love supporting other wearable creators. I've been buying cool stuff on there to support them, and it's kind of like, just like any NFT project, I usually tend to support artists that are really cool and nice. And yeah, I hope you guys do the same and consider buying one of my wearables and checking out all the other cool wearables. And DCL Tour Guide will soon be doing a wearable as well, so when she does hers, I'll definitely be supporting her as well, and hopefully doing a giveaway of her stuff too. But yeah, we definitely plan on doing some cool stuff around wearables in DCL Reporter, because I know DCL Tour Guide loves it, and so does Raven. And DCL Tour Guide, you said that she also makes her own, right? I haven't checked hers out yet. I need to check out what she's done. I think I've seen it a long time ago, but it's been a while now. Okay, so let's go back to the wearables here. I'm going to paste this link. If all of you guys are brand new and want to get into wearables, it's definitely like, I highly recommend first getting to know Blender a bit. And will the live be saved? Yeah, definitely the live will be saved, and then I also plan on putting it up on my YouTube channel, but it'll be on here for I think 7 days. But thanks for coming for this time. It's going to be probably about an hour, and I'm going to continue probably always doing a little bit of tips. Yeah, thank you so much for coming here, and consider subscribe or following if not, and then also feel free to enter the giveaway. All you have to do is that post above is just leave a comment on there. But here is a cool doc for all of you guys. If you're new, check that doc out. At first, a lot of the stuff on there may seem... Here, I'm going to open it up real quick, and I will share it with you guys. A lot of the stuff at first, I remember when I first wanted to get into wearables was like a year ago, and I didn't know Blender, and I watched some Hiroto Kai tutorials, which I highly recommend. He's awesome. And I was like, what the hell? This is impossible. What the hell is a UV map? This is like so foreign to me. Even though I've been doing digital arts forever, 3D I haven't really done very much of for a long time. Like I only tiny played around with 3D Studio Max a long time ago, but really I hardly did anything. But okay, hold on. Let me add this real quick and show you guys. Here it is. Okay, so read through this. Again, even if it seems like, what is going on here? I don't really get it. I definitely recommend just to like familiarize yourself with some of the process of what it is to do a wearable and upload. And what I'm seeing a lot of people do as well, if you don't know how to use Blender, I believe there's a lot of people who are like I've met who get 3D modelers to create the model for them. But I really recommend just learning Blender. It'll really, even if in the end you decide, nah, I'm going to get somebody else to do it, I think it's really cool to learn and understand how much work goes into the creation of a wearable, because you will really appreciate how much work, I mean, all wearables from that point on, I for sure do. After, I mean, this wearable I just put out took months of like me trying to figure out, mainly because I didn't know Blender well enough to actually do what I wanted to do, and it's still, I kept it really basic, and also the issues of keeping it low poly. That's huge. So low poly means low triangle count, low poly. Okay, let me close this real quick. Hold on. Okay, so let's head back to Blender. Okay, here we are. So right now what you guys are seeing is the base model. Hold on one second. Oh, sorry. I always have to check my phone. I have a kid, you never know. So I thought it was maybe his school. Okay, so here is our friend, the base model. So just to give you, the cool thing is they do provide this for us. This makes it really a lot easier for starting out, because when I started out I had no idea what bones or pose mode, any of this stuff really meant. Here, let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller so it actually fits on the screen. Okay. I think you guys can see that a little bit better now. Okay, so you can download the base models from Decentraland, and there's male and female. And at first, when I was starting out, I designed just for, I was just doing one version, but then I realized you really do need a male and female ideally, because the female model has much wider hips, and among other things, which you guys all know. So it's nice to shape your wearable to fit. And definitely at first I was going to just submit it and be like one size fits all, and it's like it's really nice to make it a little bit more curvy for the female and versus the male. And the cool thing is then the viewer can choose whatever they want. So depending on who do you need base for skin? The skin actually is, you can use this, but it's basically like I'm using this model right here as it's basically going to become my base. So you can use this right here. This can now become my whole wearable itself. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is actually, let's open up the file that I was working on. I think it's a little bit better to start there so you guys can see a little. You can change it. I see. Yeah, definitely. The cool thing is you can change it and you can use the actual model itself, the actual mesh on here, to create your wearable with. So right now what I've done is, here we can just do something really quick within here. So when you click on an area right here, this is called object mode, and if you hit tab you go into edit mode and you can see here all the verts. Let me, it's a little bit harder working on, hold on. I'm going to try to see if I can pair this mouse to here, because working on my laptop without my mouse is kind of difficult. Let me see if I can... Yeah, some of the shortcuts, I'm going to actually open up my other file. It's not letting me do some of the things I want. Come on. I need to do some right clicking and it's not letting me. Right now it's just selecting the verts. Go into here. Yeah. Let me close this up real quick and I'm going to open up the file that I was working on. Just because it's, for some reason, the shortcuts aren't working on there right now. And sometimes Blender, you have issues like that and you just kind of drive yourself a little bit crazy. But here I'm going to open up the my final female version, and then I'll also open up the male version as well. But one person's videos who I do recommend is Hiroto Kai. He has a lot of really great tutorials on his YouTube channel. And, okay, so here you can see this is actually my finished wearable, my female version of my wearable. And what you're seeing, those little lines right there, those are all the normals. Those are where the actual face is facing outwards. And those are the kind of things that, like, in the beginning when you're playing around with this, it's kind of really rather confusing. I'm going to turn that off. So what happens in, if you see right now, let me go, this wearable is pretty much the same as that base model that you saw earlier. And what I've done is I've selected the different areas and added different, in the UV mapping, different colors. So let's change it up. I'm going to save this as a new version so I don't tweak this out. I'm going to save as, I call it T for Twitch. Save as. And then within this file, we're going to just change it up a little bit so you guys get to kind of see some of the fun stuff. Because to really do a full-on tutorial, this would take forever. So I'll just show you guys some fun stuff. Okay, so right now what I've done is I've taken that base model and I wanted to do a hoodie. So I took the main area above and I basically started with, okay, I wanted to do a design and I created that design. in Photoshop, and that is what you see down here below. So this is the image right here. This is a 512 by 512 graphic that I did. It's a little pencil sketch I did, and then I brought it into Photoshop and I added color to it. And I wanted that to be the design of my wearable. So let's mess around with this file a little bit so you guys can see how it works. So if I hit tab, you can go into your edit mode, and now up here in the upper right, you can either have vert mode, edge mode, or face mode. So what you can do is you can select certain areas. Let's say I wanted to change what appears on this part of the hoodie. So I'm going to select it. Say I'm going to select this whole area. I'm going to click and drag. You can so all I'm doing is shift clicking and selecting that area, and let me show you what happens. So down here, this is what you call is the UV map area. All those triangles are represented down here, and it shows you what area of the image is actually being shown up here. So what you can do, I'm going to click down here, I'm going to click A, and it selects all of them, and you can move around. And if you see above how it moves with it, here I'm going to drag this down and so you can see a little bit better. I think understanding image textures is one of the funnest things, and it's like once you wrap your head around that, then you're like, oh, okay, you start getting really cool ideas. Okay, so this UV map right now you can adjust in a ton of ways. So I can put it wherever I want on this image. Let's say I wanted to shrink this down, and you can hit the S button and you can scale. So now like what shows up on here, look, I can make it like, now it starts like tiling. So all I'm doing is shrinking it up and down. And I'm gonna go back to G, let's click A, so you can like now select a whole different range of your image. So basically what I did to begin with is I kind of had like a really basic design in mind. And all I really used was the loop cut tools and image texture, and it played with that and used the base model. And then I used the extrude tool. So it's, I mean, there's a ton of tools within Blender, but getting to understand those really is like the base of a lot of this stuff. So again, I'm going to select another area. Let's say I wanted to change the colors of like all these like little racing stripes. I would do the same thing. So right now, I can click, let's say I'm going to change all the racing stripe area and make it like purple. So whatever I select on the actual model, I'm gonna, let's see if it'll let me, see it's not letting me right click. I need to figure out how to right click on my, let me see if I can find my mouse. I should have had my mouse out. I don't know where my mouse is. I need to figure out this right click on my keyboard. It's not letting me. I really need to be able to right click so I can show you guys the UV unwrap. Hold on. I will figure this out. Come on. Maybe it's just here. Hold on. Let me try to click around on. I know I have another mouse. Hold on. If it's not in here, I'm trying to pair it with let me see if I can pair it with this mouse that I have for my other computer. Sometimes it works that it pairs itself to both. Yeah, I was trying the two-finger thing and it didn't like it either. Okay, let me see if it would show. Advance, okay. trying to, let me get it off this other computer. Gonna remove it here. Okay, let me see, I think it's gonna work. It just showed up. Okay, it did. I got it. It's much easier. Using the trackpad is such a pain in the ass. Okay, now I can have more fun. Okay, so I'm going to select these. If I right click, and I'm going to do what's called UV unwrap. So all that basically does is it unwraps these shapes in the lower panel. So it's like, and then you can manipulate it. What I've done is I shrunk it down to a tiny amount. So it's just showing the green, and that's why you can't really see anything. So I'm going to do unwrap, and you can see how right now over on the lower area here, if you guys see this, I don't know why my mouse is not showing up. That sucks on the screen. On the left hand side, I'm going to select it, click A, see how that area highlighted. So right now I could actually make my racing stripes be all sorts of like crazy colors. But what I did to make the green racing stripes is I scaled it down. Really teeny tiny. Here. I'll zoom in on here to show you guys. So right now you can scale it down so it's super, super tiny, because you do have an image texture limit of 2. And so now I can make my racing stripe. Let's say if we wanted to make it red, I can make it this red right here, which would be a really cool color too. So with the back, the same thing. You can select whatever areas you want. Let's say I wanted to select all of these randomly and change it up. If I wanted to readjust it, I selected it and then I can move it around, and you can see how it changes all of that, which is really cool. Let me zoom in. So let's go back. I just wanted to show you guys a little overview of this. The main thing when it comes to wearables that is kind of frustrating is the whole normal and the limitations you have. So what I was showing you guys earlier with normal show you which way the faces show, and in Decentraland it only renders the outside facing faces. So if for some reason this was facing the other way, it wouldn't render it properly, so it would be like invisible in the game. So you use these things called these little lines. See how it's showing how it's coming out? That means it's facing outwards. So that'll show you. It kind of helps you when you're trying to figure out here if things are going to work properly in game. Let's go back and turn this off. So let's go back into the basic one just to give you guys more of a basic overview. I just wanted to show you guys kind of like a fun overview of how I did this one and some of the basic tools that are good to understand. Let me turn that off. Let's open up. So here I have some base models. Let me just open up a new file. Okay, so here is the basic file. I'm going to just hit X and get rid of that, and I'm going to import the base model. So you can go import file, import GLB, GLTF, and I'm going to find here I have saved the base models, which again you can download from Decentraland. Let's open up the mail version for now, and let's kind of go over some of the fun stuff. So one of the things I've been seeing a lot of in Decentraland is like you can either use like here's the base model here. Let me see if it's gonna let me do what I want. Hold on. on a second, let me go into face mode, select all, and this is something that I think makes things a little bit easier. If you select your mesh, you go over to face mode in the upper right here, you hit A to select it, and if you right click and you go tries to quads, you see how they all became squares now? That makes it a lot easier to work with when it comes to designing. So yeah. So what we're going to do is basically like kind of go over some of the basics here a little bit. So let's say you wanted to change some of the colors on here. So you can select the area, and what I want to do is first we're going to create a new material. The avatar skin material is what it comes with. You leave that alone, and we're going to click here and just create a new one real quick. It's being slow. Whenever I have Twitch, now I created 2. I don't need 2. No, it's not going to let me delete it. Let me see if I can just... it's okay. We're just going to create new. And call it... Your naming convention you want to try to keep really consistent. Shirt, I'm going to call it shirt _ matte for material. So within here you could just choose like a base color, or you can actually import an image. Like in the other one, I imported an image texture, which is the image I created in Photoshop, that 512 by 512. And now I'm gonna go see if I can just find it, just to bring it in to show you guys. Let me see if I even have it in here. Actually, I'm gonna bring in the Avatar Wearables texture. So this is something again that comes when you download the Avatar like base models. Okay. So down here, I'm gonna now switch over to UV editor, and I'm going to select that Avatar Wearables texture. So since we're limited in wearable creation to your image texture amount, what you could do is you create, like a lot of times you have color atlas. So within here now I have a full range of colors that I can choose from. And what I did is I chose in the avatar, in the wearable that I created, just that image because it had pretty much every color. So I just used that. But for here, since this is what that comes with the download when you download your base models, I'm just going to show you real quick how to do some changes. So right now, if we go into okay, so let me show you guys exactly what I did so I don't confuse you. So right now, all of this is assigned to the avatar skin. So we want to actually assign this. Since I want to change the colors on this, I'm going to select all of these. I want to assign this to this shirt material that I just created. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click assign, and that's going to assign it to down here. So just like before, let me scale this up so you guys can see it. So this is the actual UVs here of that particular area. So now I could have like crazy, I could scale this in however I want. I can make it like really weird. I could shrink it down. Or like in the other one, I can make it a solid color. So just with like what they give you, you can pretty much create a wearable if you want, or a really basic one. So I'm going to move it around. Let's say I wanted a crazy stripey one. And now let's say I want this outside edges here to be like a solid color. So like I was showing you guys in the other one, whatever I select here will be shown down here in the UV editor. So I'm going to hit A again, and now I can move this around. You guys can kind of see, oh, look what I forgot to do. So right now this area is assigned still to the avatar, so I'm going to click on shirt material and assign it to be this new material. Let me scale it. I'm going to scale it way down so I can show you like I did in the other one. Now if I scale it way down, here let me zoom in so you guys can see. See, now I can move, I scaled it way down, and now I can like choose whatever color I want. Like, ooh, I want it to be, say, this cool orange. So you can see how you can do that. And let's say now I wanted to do racing stripes like I did on my own hoodie. Again, you want to assign it to your new material. And now I'm going to select it, and I'm going to scale it down. You hit S, and I'm going to scale it way down, and you hit G to be able to move it. And then, let's say, maybe I'm going to do turquoise racing stripe. So, that's looking pretty cool. Let's say I wanted to select everything. I'm actually going to select everything and make the base of my shirt one color. If you go up here to the right and you select wireframe mode, it'll allow you to select everything without missing. Because if you're in different other modes, when you do selection, it won't select every single face. And here, let me show you the UV map. When I do the wireframe, now you can see, look at all the UVs right here. So I'm going to select all of those. I'm going to scale all those down. And I think I'm going to make it black, the base. Sometimes the scaling tool is like annoying. I kind of tend to do it in like 2 strides. And I'm going to make it, let's find our black. There's our black down here. So I want to add some cool, like, you know, the glowing effects. So right now the base of my wearable is black. There you go. But look what I forgot to do. I forgot to assign, let me undo, I forgot to assign everything to that. There you go. Now I have something to start working with. And this is kind of this is pretty much what I did for the other one. So I started messing around, did this, and now it's the fun part. You get to see, like, what am I gonna do with this? Is it gonna be like a normal hoodie? Do I want to add a hood in the back? Do I want to play around with the top parts here? First off, let's add some glowing bits. So I'm gonna just click and drag and select these front. And if you shift click, you can unselect something. So I'm gonna add the emissions, which of course we all love emissions. And I made my hoodie like semi glowy, but not like super deluxe glowy, because I still wanted the colors to show up. So I'm gonna go to my materials and look for my emissions. If you click on this little dot right here, and this only works if you use the same image texture on here. And I'm gonna show you 2 different ways to look at it so you don't get too scared. But like this one way, if you click here and go to image texture, just like we did earlier, I'm gonna click open. And I need to find that same, there it is. This is the same. There you go. So now with those, now whatever I have here in this emissions with that image texture will glow. And black won't glow, so right now we need to move this over to a color that will glow. So, okay. So right now it's set to like super deluxe strong. So if I go into right here, you guys can see real quick. This in-game would be like crazy glow. Like in here, it doesn't show up as much, but 1, which you can't really see because, let me see if I can turn myself off. Well, let me see, hold on. Yeah, it's not really showing you guys. Let me just turn myself off for a couple minutes. Or actually, I can move myself. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'll make myself really tiny. I don't really want to take off the rest of it, but I need to do a version of this for us whenever we're doing stuff like this. So right now you can kind of see more of what I was trying to show you guys. Hold on, I need to do one quick thing. Give me 1 second. So I can actually, I don't know if I can drag. Let me see if I can find the base models for you guys. But yeah, Detailed Tour Guide, that file you sent me, it was really cool. it has everything rigged up, but it's not like rigged up to what the avatar for DCL would, I mean, how their naming convention, all that stuff is. I would definitely, I'm sure somebody who knows what they're doing could probably use it, and I don't know if it's something you can resell when you bought it, but it's really cool looking. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I'm just looking something up real quick. But if you guys are just showing up, go head over to Fractilian7 on Twitter, and if you comment on my just sent on my wearable giveaway or my wearable post, you'll be entered to get a free wearable. Okay, so right now in game, this would be super glowy. Let's add some more little stripies, and then let's see if we can export this and just test it out and see what it's like to bring something we just created in 2 seconds into Decentraland. This is where we're going to push it, because everything in the minute you export could have some issues, but here. Actually, I'm on the wrong computer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is now, this is our wearable. We're done. Let's test it out. Let's see what happens when we bring it into Decentraland. Let's actually add some little different before we go in there. Okay. So I'm gonna, let's say, give it some cool collar. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, why is it not? Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna go and select the edges. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. I just want this part around his neck to kind of like go up. If I hit E, and let's say, I think it's Y, okay, hit E, and I'm gonna bring it up so it's kind of like, oh, it didn't select the back one. I'm just adding, like, extruding part of the mesh here, kind of giving him a cool collar. And then let's say I wanted to extrude, and then I'm gonna go out, give him like a kind of a crazy, actually I like that. Let me bring this up here. I'm gonna play with this part right here. So I extruded and did Y, so it extrudes on the Y, and there, okay. So here's his funky little neck bit, and let's bring this part in the back here up too, just to, all I'm doing right now is selecting the edges, and I'm gonna bring it all up. I'm gonna hit E again. Oh weird, it didn't, oh wait, hold on a second. Come on. It's acting weird. Come on. Let me zoom. Well, I don't know why it's being buggy. Okay. I'm just going to leave it as is, and let's just change the color real quick. I don't want to get too deep into it, so then we can just give you guys a quick overview of like, okay, I created something, and I want to see what it's going to look like in world. It's kind of fun. So all I'm going to do is select that, and I want to change those colors. And A, I'm going to change it to a, maybe to like a greenish color. Okay. So right now, I'm gonna just export this, and then we can import it and do a test, see what happens. And as you guys who know me, probably everything's gonna go wrong, but that's part of the fun. Okay, so here's our magical wearable that we created with only a partial collar, and we're going to export this guy. Export a GLB. I'm going to save it. Let's create a new folder. And call it stream, export, and call this test. Okay. Let's save this puppy. As you can tell, I'm really bad at naming things. It'll go into stream, test. I'm gonna save the Blender file because chances are it might crash by the time we come back. And let's now see what happens when we go into Decentraland. So we already have our builder. We're already where we need to be, kind of. So we're gonna go into builder. Come on, Decentraland, work. Now it's totally crashed. Let me reload this. I guess I can bring myself back here now. Actually, no, I'll just stay over here for now. Okay, now we're gonna go into collections. And we're gonna create a new collection. Actually, I could just add it to my test. My crazy test area where I've tested lots of fun things. And we can go into this and you guys can take a look. So I'm gonna add a new item and I'm just gonna drag that file in here. So I'm gonna look for my stream folder. I love that you were able to test in World. If not, it would have been like impossible to know what I was creating was actually gonna work. I still did have some issues, but like... Okay, let me drag it in. Okay. Oops. I did something funny, but let me redo this real quick. I forgot to do something very important, so I'm gonna go in here. Let's go re-export this. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, one thing you want to be sure to do is do selected objects only, because it imported its head, a whole bunch of stuff. You have all sorts of issues. I can see his little head over there. So I'm going to re-export this. Test 2, and then we're gonna... Now it should work. Let's go. Let me close this. Let me just go back to... Make sure you guys can actually see it. Okay, cool. It's still showing up. I'm gonna go back and create new item. I'm gonna drag my file in here. I'm gonna grab that test 2 file. And here it is. So here you can select, and all this stuff you don't have to, you can change later before you mint once it's approved, but you kind of want to give it, like tell it what it is. It's something for upper body, something for both, and I'm going to create. And what this lets you do is test it and see what it's actually going to look like. So let's see where it is. There it is. Okay, I'm going to go to open an editor. And let's see if any of what we did worked. You can see the best part is when we can actually go in and see it in world. This is where you pray to the computer gods. There it is, look. You can see now you can see all the types of issues because I put this on a male model. You see the female hips, I would have to adjust it for that. So let's pick a male. So it fits him much better. He has a nice little super tight outfit. And I don't know why, oh, maybe I don't know why this green didn't come through. But now let's do the fun part. Let's test it in world and you can see how glowy this was. Okay, we're gonna go back here. And then we're gonna go to, if you click on this buttons up here next to new items, see in world. This is where we're gonna go test on the, I believe it's called, I always forget, Robson network. So we actually have to switch networks. See, it's telling you we're on the wrong network. So you have to go into your MetaMask. This takes a little bit usually. Come on. Whenever, I don't know why it always takes forever to have MetaMask open up. Oh. We might just have to reload it real quick. Okay, let's try this one more time. It usually has, like, this is the part that it usually takes a little bit of time when you're testing in world. So this is like what can take you hours and hours, just getting it to open, work properly. Okay. Now it's not even wanting to open up the MetaMask. Come on. If not, we can just go back into Blender and play with more stuff. Yes, I know it has access to a site, but I need it needs to open for me to be able to switch networks. That's what I'm trying to do. No! Come on. I know it really wants to work, and I really want to show you guys what it looks like. But again, when you're designing wearables, this is what takes forever. If you're gonna test it and nothing's working, that's why I can't wait for like everything to be on the desktop client. I have a Mac, so I still haven't tested the PC desktop client. Have any of you guys tested it? I'm very, very jealous if you have. Oh my god, it opened up. Okay, we switched over. Okay, step one. Now we have to have this work. Come on, cross your fingers. Hope and pray. Please work. Okay, come on. Okay, so you guys can imagine if you're trying to test one thing and it's been like forever. I still haven't been able to test anything, and you have to go through this. Once this process gets faster, it'll cut time to develop things way better, because you definitely need to test, because you never know if all your normals were right. And even me, I had to I submitted it. Oh, come on. I'm not going to touch anything. Now you just have to pray. You have to create a little altar to your Decentraland. No! I guess my offerings haven't been good. I have to get some more tea or candy or stuff. Come on. I'm giving up. I know it really wants to work. But we're here to document, right? We're documenting the struggle. And the struggle is real. Oh. So if you guys are just joining us, we're doing a little quick demo on bringing a really simple wearable that we just did into Decentraland testing environment ROPS network, and now we're praying that it will just work. It really doesn't want to work. It doesn't like. Ugh. Why isn't it an invalid version? Okay, I'm gonna close that. See, now we have to switch back over all of that work to just switch, and none of it worked. Should we try one more time? I'm not giving up. I'm gonna try one last time for you guys. Okay. It's just so fun. I really want to show you guys. Okay. I'm trying to go like super slow for it to actually work. Come on, Decentraland. I just want to show you the super glowy thing we did because we kept it at 1 emissions power. And it's like, you know, all the super bling everyone's creating right now. That's why I kind of chose mine to be a little more subtle so you can see the colors on my actual hoodie. I'm just not going to touch anything and hope that it will wake up of responsiveness. If not, I'll do a recording and post it on my YouTube so you guys can see a better structured class. This is not really very well structured, but I just want to... Oh. Let me see, I'm just going to click reload. Come on. You can do it. Yes, you can. I know it wants to work. If not, we'll just dive back into Blender. It's really not wanting to work today. This is like the worst ever. Usually it doesn't work and then it'll all of a sudden work. Maybe they're doing something and updating something. Maybe it's... Yep. Well, I'm giving that up. Let's go back to network that seems to work most of the time. Okay. Well, here are some of the fun things I was playing with, and they're a lot more fun when you're actually able to see them. So here's a funny little hat I did, so I'm going to open that and I was just messing around to see how creating... Here's my little funny IRL beanie hat. So some of the issues that you can get, as you can see here, you see how you can see her ear? So those are the kind of things sometimes when you're in the actual builder you don't necessarily see right away. You can always make this bigger, smaller. Another cool thing you can do is over here on the right hand side, you can actually, let's say you have like a wearable that covers the whole head and you don't want the head there. You can actually look for the head, save it, and now the head will be gone. See? You can have an invisible headed person. Right now that you've been seeing some of those invisible wearables, there you go. So I could do, let's add the head back up. You can actually do top of head alone. I believe top of head is on there. Top head. So that would be just top of head. It doesn't take care of the ear situation, but you kind of get my... Let's check this one out. Let's go back real quick and show you guys a couple other ones that I was playing with. This was a fun one. This is just, I'll show you guys how I did this one. All I did was make some cubes, and you see that color atlas stuff. That was the image texture that I put on it, and I attached it to the head, so that's how that happened. But in this one, this is a good example of what not to do. So you can see this jacket, this is what's called clipping around the... Oh man, I wish you guys could see my mouse. I don't know why it's not showing up on here. So around the butt, you can see how you can see the pants. So that would be an adjustment I'd have to make, and I have to play around with what's called weight painting, or yeah, you can adjust how the wearable moves. But yeah, it's definitely fun because even if you don't like actually create a wearable, you can still play around and see which wearable you like, what you want to do, and test it here. You can actually make him do all sorts of things. You can see how the wearable behaves if he's doing all of these kind of different actions. Right? Which is pretty cool. So let's go back into Blender and let's add some fun stuff to it. Okay. Let's say you wanted to see how this wearable moves within the actual object. So I'm going to go now into what's called pose mode. These bones are actually what moves this avatar, and if you click over here on the right, you can see all of this work has been done for you by them. I've never actually built an avatar from scratch. It would be really cool to learn. So luckily they give us that, so we don't have to do that. So right now I'm going to go and show you guys how that works. So over on the left hand side, I'm going to go into pose mode. So within pose mode, I want to see how things move. So right now, since everything I'm using is already part of it. Like I didn't add anything to it, so everything should move with it. So you can like do all sorts of fun things. Let's move his body and see how he moves. Ooh. Do that. Let me see, hopefully. Oh. Let me move him back to where he was. Oh, now his legs are all weird and open. Sometimes clicking on this pose mode is like you don't get exactly what you want. It's okay. Now I'm trying to get him kind of straight again. He's still he's kind of off. Oh, I'm kind of probably making a mess right now. Let's just go back into object mode. And now he looks really funny. I wish there was a quick way to undo all the stupid things I just did. Yeah, you can't really shrink the ear, but you can you can adjust the wearable itself and make it bigger or smaller. So yeah, so the ear you could have like the wearable, you could make it out. I don't think there's a way to like get rid of this. Maybe there is a way, but I think you actually have to build around it, or you can get, yeah, some things you can get rid of like you saw, but some things not. So okay, let me show you. Let's say if I want to do like what's called pairing something to this. Let's say let's give him a blockhead. So I'm gonna add a cube. Right now here's a fun cube. I'm gonna scale it down. Actually, let's make him part of his body. Okay. So right now, let's go into that pose mode again. And let's say we wanted to test out how he moves. You see how that block isn't moving with him? It's because that object hasn't been paired with it. Meaning, like, you need to pair the actual objects that you're adding to it with the actual bone structures here. So let me see if I can fix his leg. Come on, leg. I think I tweaked this out so much. I don't know what I was doing. Now he's like in a really funny pose. Okay. So this object right here, if you right click, let me click and click here, right click, you go parent, clear, and keep transformations is what you want to do first. And then you click, shift click, and then right click, and then you go parent with automatic weights. So now it's weighted to it. You see how I kind of tweaked it out because of how I moved this. Let's, you know what? I'm going to start with a new one because I kind of messed that one up a little bit. Let's create a new Blender file and I'll show you this next little bit. Okay. Let's bring a new model in. I shouldn't have messed around with all of that. Let me import a new base model. Actually, first let's get rid of this guy. And let's import a new model. Okay, now this one I haven't messed with at all. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add a cube. And I'm going to shrink him down real quick. So we want to make it so he's paired with his body, so this cube moves with the body. So the first thing you want to do is you want to clear any transformation so you can reset it. Let me get this a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm going to right click, and go parent, clear, and keep transformations. Okay, now I'm going to pair it with the actual body. Right click parent with automatic weights. So now when we go into pose mode, let me zoom in for you guys can see. I'm going to do the side view so you guys can see. So now if I rotate him, come on. Okay, hold on. You see how now it kind of shrinks with it? So one thing we're going to look at real quick, you see how the body kind of appears over it? That means you need a little bit more verts for it to be able to like actually work with it. So that's what we're going to do. Let's bring him back to that. So what does that mean? How do you actually do that? So let's do that real quick. So this object right here, I'm going to add more loop cuts to it. So I'm going to go select the object and we're going to go back into edit mode. You hit tab and we're going to use the loop cut tool. We're just going to add some more loop cuts. I'm going to add, let's say, so there's a total of 4. So now when we go back into that pose mode, let's get out of here. Let's go back into pose mode, into side view, and let's rotate him. So now, if you see, look at all that, all those extra verts allows that mesh to bend better so it won't be like showing the bottom part. It's pretty cool, right? It still probably needs a little more if you see up here. How it's doing, it's still coming out a little bit. We can add some more loop cuts to it. And yeah, let's say you see how those we can add something to. Let's go back into object mode. And let's just, for a quick review, let's create another texture because this is a new file. So right now, all we have in the materials. What happened to my music? Hold on 1 second. I think my playlist just ended or something. There we go. Okay. Let's just do a little quick recap. So right now, this upper body, all we have right now is still that skin avatar since we created a new file. I'm just going to save this one real quick and put it in there. Ideally, you want to name it something different, but... So I'm going to add a new texture. I'm going to name it cube underscore mat for material. And then, like before, I'm going to bring in that image texture that we used before that comes with the base models that you download. So now I'm going to go into, so you can actually see, there it is. So now we have a cube attached to the body. We can actually export this right now and bring it into our builder and test it out as well. So let's go back and review a little bit and show our UV map again. Let's say we wanted to change this cube. And then we can mess around a little bit with the upper body and tweak out this wearable so it's not just like flat. So right now this cube, I'm going to open up my UV editor. I'm going to bring up that file that we had, and I'm going to hit tab, select all, so now you can see. Let me unwrap this. It should let me unwrap, I don't know why not. I guess it's already unwrapped. I don't know. Okay, here it is. Oh, I guess it's fine, it's already unwrapped. Okay, I'm gonna select all, and then again, like before, we can select in here and we can move this around, or we can shrink it down, or we can rotate this to be all sorts of weird, kind of like crazy cube. Well, we'll make him crazy cube land. And then go back and let's add another, let's pair another thing to his head now. So I'm gonna just Shift D makes a duplicate, and now this guy we're gonna make at his head. Then we're gonna see if we can bring him back to Builder and we can just get rid of the head. And let's make a couple of floaty things too. Actually, no, within here. Actually, let's do some cool stuff. Let's shrink this down a little bit. Let's shrink it like this, so then we can see we can take away the head when we're actually in Builder. Oh, I'm playing with Blender and playing with the Decentraland Builder. I mean, I'm playing with Decentraland Wearables. This is just me being really silly. So we're just pairing things. So here is an object right here, and right now we're going to do the same thing we did before. First we want to clear and keep transformations, and now I'm going to select the bones and we're going to parent and pair it with automatic weights. So now we can go into pose mode. We click on bones, go into pose mode, and we can see, let's see if we can click on the head. Let's go to side view. So you can see how it moves with the head. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm basically demoing the basic wearable, and then I was actually showcasing a wearable that my first wearable ever that I uploaded. I can open up that file and show you here in a sec. So what we're going to do is let's export these and bring them into the Decentraland Builder wearable thing. So here is, let's select, go back into object mode, and I'm going to select this and this, and I'm going to go File, Export, GLB, GLTF, and the main thing you want to do is do selected objects, because if not it'll export everything. So I'm just going to call this cubes and export. And let me show you the file of the wearable that I did do. I'm going to save that. So this is the wearable that I just did finish and uploaded. I did a male and female version, and it's pretty basic, but all I did is I used my own image texture of my own art, and then I used that as the base for my wearable. So this is the one. So let's go quickly into Builder again, to Decentraland Builder. Let me open it up. And we can try out one last time to see if we can actually bring this in. We'll bring it in. Actually, I'm doing a wearable giveaway. If you head over to my Twitter, Factilian7, and comment on my wearable post, you can be entered to win that wearable. And I made a male and female version. So be sure to also follow me here, and then yeah, you'll be entered. So here I'm going to show you guys how to bring this into the Decentraland Builder and test it out in the Builder for wearables. And if you guys want to learn more, I'm definitely newer. There's some really great tutorials by Hiroto Kai, and there's other wearable creators like Deco, who's amazing, who I've learned from. So I'm going to go into my collections, and I'm going to create a new item. I'm just going to drag that file that I just created, my little fun test file. I'm going to drag it in there, and there it is. Now we're going to call this, see what happens, because I kind of mixed it up. I've never done, oop, what happened? Let's do that again. I've never done it like upper and head together. I don't know how that will be. I usually just do one or the other. Because technically you're supposed to do different wearables for that. Okay, let's see what happens. This is maybe gonna break it, maybe not. Let's just put up her body, see what happens. Oh, both. Great. Okay, there's my funny cubes. Let's see what it looks like in editor. It looks all funky. I don't know what I did. So those of you just joining us, this is the Decentraland builder where I'm testing crazy wearables that I'm just experimenting with and showing you guys some of the basics. So there you go. Look what happened. I should have exported the body too. But it looks kind of fun. It's cube head, and now I'm going to play around and let's get rid of that head. So here you can actually experiment and let's say you want to get rid of the whole head and see what that looks like. There you go. He still has his hair though. Look at that, that's pretty funny. And you can test out, let's say make him dance, make her dance. Just McCube dancing. So what I really should have done is in this place, let's open up my other file that I was showing you guys, my little fun test file. I should have selected the body as well and these objects. Okay, hold on. This. I don't know why it's not selecting the body. Maybe it is. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I'm using my keyboard on the wrong keyboard. Okay, let's try this one more time. Let me do export. Now the body should show up with it. Let's do cubes. 2. Sorry, it's not showing up for you guys. It's just, you're still on the... Okay, let me open up and show you guys here. Screen share. Let me show you guys Decentraland Builder. Sorry, I wasn't... Cool, awesome. Thanks for heading here and coming to my stream. Okay, here's the builder. I just realized I wasn't showing you guys anything. There we go. Okay. Now you guys can see what it looks like. So here's me kind of, I messed up because I forgot to export the body. Now I'm going to put it in properly. Guess it's still not coming in with the body. Not sure. I think it's because I did upper and lower that it might be messing up. There you go. So I exported, I shouldn't have brought all that stuff in. You can see, this is what happens when you mess up. It looks kind of cool though. So, let's test out, here I'll show you guys some of the other ones that I've done. Let's go back. Back to that cube top. So again, you come in here to test it out because in female and male, the hips are different, and the women, this one I designed for the male avatars. You can see there's all this clipping. So I would have to make adjustments if I were to keep it just one. So, woo! Okay, well, I think I'm going to end it here. This has been kind of random. Next time I'll have more of a structured thing. Or maybe we can just talk about one particular topic in wearables, because there's too much to cover. And I wish the testing environment was going to work, but it wasn't. But yeah, hopefully